Today, I'm going over the best magnesium supplements. We're going over magnesium citrate, magnesium oxide, magnesium glycinate, magnesium sulfate, and magnesium threonate. And we're starting now. There is a blood test to measure magnesiums, but it only measures about 5% of the magnesium in our body. There is 22 to 26 grams of magnesium that should be present in our body, and they've done a lot of studies with more complex calculations that essentially show we have a 66+% deficiency. There are 600 enzymes in the body. Magnesium's extremely important, and guess what? We used to get it from our water supply, but now no longer. In almost all communities, magnesium is filtered out of our water. And they've actually done studies where places that still live on stream water or mountain water, they actually have better health levels in the deficiencies that we're going to talk about. These are some of the more eye-opening magnesium studies that I have seen. I link them in my Magnesium Secrets video. And then number two, our diet. Even though we were eating about 2,000 or so calories in the 1950s, now we're eating in the 4,000 range. Get the obesity rates around the world. It's not just North America and the United States, which is a myth. Europe's actually a little bit higher. South America's getting up there. The world overall, Asia, Oceania, and even Africa is getting up there. So everyone is getting more and more obese. So look at these statistics. Since just 2000, it's gone up from 30% to 42.4%. And even the severe obesity rate has doubled. So it's going up. And what about COVID? When COVID started, the rates shot up even more rapidly. So this problem is already horrible and it's only getting worse. People are getting higher rates of diabetes. Everything I'm going to talk about here is more relevant than ever. But guess what? Our food is now processed. It's cookies, it's breads, it's nutrition-free foods that have low magnesium, low nutrition, and we're said to get about 80 to 90% less magnesium from our diet than we did about 100 years ago. Processed food is not the answer. I do have my top 15 most practical foods to get your magnesium from, so if you want to do it through diet, check that out below, but we're focusing on the supplements in this video. And I'm going to count down the 10 most important benefits of magnesium. 10, electrolyte balance. This is essential for nerve signals, muscle contractions. If you have cramps, spasms, sore muscles, that could be magnesium. Number 9, nervous system regulation. It's needed for proper nerve function, potentially for peripheral neuropathy. Could that contribute? Number 8, blood pressure regulation. So if you have high blood pressure, magnesium is shown to contribute, and that relates to heart disease and stroke as well indirectly. Number 7, heart health, vascular disease. Number 6, blood sugar control. It's shown that people with supplemented magnesium actually can reduce their diabetes risk. Number 5, mood regulation. Magnesium is linked to less depression, less anxiety, and especially ones like magnesium L-threonate. There's specific studies about their reduction that's measured in high-level trials. Number 4, muscle function. Magnesium shown to help with muscle contraction and relaxation, cramps, spasms. Number 3, bone health and osteoporosis. This is important in the function of osteoblasts, which build bone, and osteoclasts, which chew bone. I go into this in much more depth in my osteoporosis secrets video, but osteoblasts essentially lay down bone. I like to think of them as blasting bone. Magnesium is crucial for the function of osteoblasts. If it's low, the osteoblasts don't function. And on the other hand, cells called osteoclasts will chew up the bone and cause osteoporosis. I have an osteoporosis guide, all the best supplements, and the big secret that you want to do for osteoporosis. Check that down below, but magnesium is one of those. Number 2, migraine relief. Studies have shown that magnesium can help with severe migraines, headaches, and number 1, improved sleep quality. Magnesium can help with neurotransmitters, and in fact, some of these magnesium supplements help a lot more than others. Here are the supplement guidelines. Based on age and gender, over 18, for a male, you want to get it 420 milligrams per day. For a female, you want to get 320 milligrams per day. Personally, I like to take it at nighttime as well, especially if you're taking magnesium glycinate, for example, to help with sleep. Be aware of medical conditions. So Carolyn Dean from the Magnesium Secret, she mentions 4 medical conditions. So number 1 is kidney failure or kidney problems. Number 2 is bowel obstruction. Number 3 is myasthenia gravis. And number 4, some people just can't tolerate it. This is not meant to be your own personal doctor, so always check if you're having bad symptoms. I know in the comments sometimes people are like, hey, I took some magnesium and I blew up like a berry. Be aware of that. You know, there are allergies. There are different mixtures in a lot of these supplements. There can be contaminations always, so just be aware of that. And it's great to start gradually as well. Start with a little bit, you know, don't take like a huge scoop of magnesium to start with. You could have some side effects, you could have some symptoms like diarrhea. So start slow and gradually move up depending on how it's doing, or try different types of magnesium as well if you're not tolerating one type or another. I've always seen magnesium oxide on the bad magnesium list, but I've had a lot of people in the comments saying, hey, it's highly recommended, there's good studies, so we're going to go over those. But generally, it's not meant for absorption. Magnesium hydroxide is also meant to loosen the stool. It's not meant to be absorbed. Magnesium carbonate, same kind of thing. It's an antacid. It's not meant to be absorbed. And magnesium sulfate, we're going to talk about that one as well, but not specifically for absorption. Magnesium oxide is an option as well. There's a couple negatives about magnesium oxide. It is not very bioavailable, but at the same time, it's very cheap and you can just take more. It is the most popular and the most sold form of magnesium in the United States, but it is used more as an antacid if you have heartburn, or it's used more as a laxative. So it's really used for those two things. You can get some magnesium for it, but there are easier ways. Realistically, magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate are probably the two easier ways to go about it. You can take 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium oxide daily, but it's probably not my first choice. The reality is magnesium oxide is the most plentiful form in America and most of the world, so you can still take it. Even though the percentage of absorbed is less, it is so low cost that you can just take more, and the side effects are really just that it's a laxative. So if you're constipated, could be a good thing. It's very affordable, it's very accessible, and realistically, just take more of it. If you take twice as much and only 50% is absorbed, for example, just take a little bit more. So as a recommendation, start with like 200, 300 grams. If you're doing good, take a little bit more, up to 500 grams. One that's Googled a lot is magnesium sulfate. Sometimes they are spelled with a PH or an F. It's the exact same thing. This is actually used as a laxative. Magnesium sulfate increases water in the intestines and can help with constipation. Magnesium sulfate is also in things like Epsom salt. It's used in bath soaks to relieve muscle soreness and stress. I did actually read a paper though, where somebody filled up a whole bathtub of magnesium sulfate salt baths and they sat in it for too long and they actually developed magnesium toxicity that way. It can soak through your skin if you sit in it forever. Don't go too crazy. It's meant to be used for like foot baths and things like that. And I use that in a lot of my remedies, but 15-20 minutes is really all you want to do. Not a full bath for like multiple hours where your skin breaks down. Magnesium sulfate is a less common supplement and it can be used to correct magnesium deficiency, but it's used for preeclampsia, eclampsia, pregnancy treatments in hospitals. It can be used as an anti-inflammatory in soaks, in baths. The reality is you want to use it more as an oral laxative under the care of your doctor. You can use it in Epsom salts as a soak. You don't want to take it orally. That's probably not the best one to take. And the beauty is magnesium sulfate is generally pretty cheap as the bath. Magnesium sulfate has a lot of applications. Use it as Epsom salts. Don't digest it orally. It's going to mess up your stomach. It's going to give you gassiness. You're going to run to the bathroom. Magnesium sulfate is a salt. You can use 10 to 30 grams for a bath. That's like 1 to 2 cups for 15 to 30 minutes in the bath. Don't go much more than that. There is toxicity possible with prolonged use. And I'm talking like hours and hours. So don't get too scared. It's relatively safe. Great for muscle relaxing, anxiety, sleep, muscle and nerve benefits. But it's not for oral use. It will cause some stomach indigestion issues and it does have poor absorption. Magnesium chloride is another magnesium salt. It's magnesium and 2 chloride ions. This is the one that's recommended, for example, by Carolyn Dean in the Magnesium Miracle. There's a lot of studies on it. It has better absorption than magnesium sulfate. So magnesium sulfate is not a salt that you want to digest, but magnesium chloride can be taken orally and it can be digested. I personally tried this one for a little while. I just did not like the taste. It does taste like you're taking salt down. Magnesium chloride has 200 to 400 milligrams per day. It can be used topically as well. The problem with the topical creams is you don't know how much you're getting, how much you're absorbing over time. And I mentioned the person that takes that multi-hour salt bath is at risk for toxicity, but it's good in skincare creams. It's good for muscle and nerve benefits. There's no standardized topical use, and as a result, it's a little bit more risky in my opinion. Another great option is magnesium citrate. This is one me and my family have used a lot. This is more bioavailable than ones like magnesium oxide or magnesium sulfate. It is water soluble, so it's more absorbable. It is used commonly as a pill, as a powder, and it does have the benefit of being a mild laxative. Generally, if you're a little bit constipated, if you're backed up, magnesium citrate could be a great option for you. That's really who should be taking it, people that are slightly constipated and that have a magnesium deficiency. It is more bioavailable than magnesium oxide, and the typical dosage is about 200 to 300 milligrams because you're still getting some from your diet. You don't want to get too crazy. If you're taking like huge scoops, you might get some gassiness. You might be going to the bathroom. Magnesium citrate is more potent. It is more bioavailable, so you have to be careful because taking too much will blow out your stomach. You're going to have diarrhea. You're going to have to go on the toilet. And for older people, it could dehydrate you. So use it as a supplement for food. So try and get at least half of it from food and then use this as a supplement because it might be powerful going to the toilet. But otherwise, in regular dosages, magnesium citrate is one of my go-to. It's relatively low cost in the powder form and very effective. Magnesium glycinate. This is a great option. In fact, possibly the best value to benefits. The bioavailability is better than magnesium oxide. Sometimes it's called glycinate. Sometimes it's called bisglycinate. It's the exact same thing. Sometimes you see the term chelated. This means that there's amino acids bound to the magnesium. So you're getting less elemental magnesium per dose, but it's better absorbed. So something to think about. The chelated is generally more expensive and better absorbed. It differs from the other forms because it's bound to the amino acid glycine. Glycine has the benefits of being an amino acid, and it does help with sleep. So in my sleep supplements video, glycine is actually a sleep supplement. So you can check that out below. I won't get into all the science behind it. Magnesium's a sleep supplement, and glycine is a sleep supplement as well. So both can work well together. Glycine is an amino acid. It acts as an inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain. And when taken before sleep, it is a safe medication for anxiety and does have sleep benefit. There's not a whole lot of long-term studies and can have some medication interactions. For that reason, when I take magnesium glycinate, I take it at nighttime. It's been shown to help reduce anxiety, affect the brain as a sleep aid, and manage stress. In today's world, we're more anxious than ever. Inflation's up through the roof, all this crazy stuff in the media. Who doesn't want a little bit of magnesium glycinate to relax and calm down? I know I do. A lot of my family members use it. It's a great option. The studies are really good. Magnesium glycinate does not cause diarrhea, and it does not work as a laxative like magnesium citrate or magnesium sulfate do. If you're not constipated, magnesium glycinate's the way to go. It can help you with sleep and anxiety as well. The studies are actually really good. There's a lot of studies out. You want to take about 100 to 350 milligrams daily. If you take it in the morning, it's not necessarily going to make you sleepy. I personally take it later at night. It just works well with my diet that way. Magnesium glycinate, you don't have to take over 400 milligrams because you're getting some for food, but 150 to 400 milligrams per day is probably fine, and it supplements the diet. It's much more bioavailable than magnesium oxide, for example. It's gentle on the stomach. It helps with anxiety, sleep benefits. It helps with muscle and nerve problems. But the downsides are there are medication risks. There are overuse risks for this. By overuse, I mean if you're taking a reasonable amount in the recommended dosages, you should be more than fine. Now, another great option is magnesium L-threonate. This was developed by a group of scientists at MIT, including a Nobel Prize winner. It's a salt formed from magnesium and threonic acid. Threonic acid is a metabolite of vitamin C. So they were doing studies, basically vitamin C and magnesium, and they came up with magnesium L-threonate. This is notable because studies show that the brain and the central nervous system, like the spinal cord, the nerves, take up more magnesium than other forms, especially even magnesium glycinate and citrate, which are already pretty good. The blood-brain barrier means the arteries in the brain have something called tight endothelial junctions. That means not as much can squeeze through because the brain wants to protect itself from toxins, and there's astrocytes and pericytes to clean up anything that squeezes through. And comparative studies do show that magnesium L-threonate is the best one so far at getting through the blood-brain barrier. So those studies show cognitive benefits such as improved memory, learning, neuroprotective effects, potential benefits in enhanced memory and learning. These are all new studies, but there are some higher level studies that look at 100, 200 people, and the results are statistically significant. Even sleep quality, protecting against brain inflammation, neurodegenerative disorders like peripheral neuropathy. The typical dosage is 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams because the vast majority of the weight of magnesium L-threonate is that threonic acid. If you're taking 2 grams of magnesium L-threonate, you're only really getting 144 milligrams of elemental magnesium. The studies that they used, that's really all they used. So you don't have to take like 10 grams. That would be pretty expensive as well because this is not the cheapest form of magnesium. It is proven to penetrate the blood-brain barrier a little bit better than the other ones. Magnesium L-threonate, it's recommended to take 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams per day. That's what they take in the studies, but that's only 144 to 288 milligrams of elemental magnesium. So the downsides are, this is new, it can get pretty expensive, but the studies are pretty good for brain health, central nervous system absorption. If you want to get that benefit for anxiety and sleep, this might be worth trying. I'm doing a 30 to 60 day test myself. I'm feeling some benefits, but it's hard to say for certain. Now I'm going to count down my favorites from the least recommended to the most recommended good magnesiums. Oxide, magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate. Magnesium chloride is actually pretty good, but it doesn't make my top list. Magnesium orotate, I didn't go over this because it's a little bit more rare. It's more expensive. They say it's good for athletes and gives you more energy, but is more expensive. It's not the most commonly used. Magnesium taurate, same thing. It's good for diabetics. It's promoted that way. It's good for blood sugar and mood. It's chelated. That's what the taurate is. It helps it get absorbed better. Same thing with magnesium malate. It's good for fibromyalgia. It's combined with malic acid, and it is an anti-inflammatory substance. But again, not the most popular. We're focusing on magnesium threonate. Great for brain function, great for cognitive function, but it is more expensive. And the question is, are you getting enough? I love magnesium citrate. It's a lot cheaper, but it can give you some diarrhea. I usually do it in the powder form. I love the magnesium citrate powder. It's pretty easy. If you're plugged up, you can switch to this one for a day or two, but it's relatively low cost. But number one is magnesium glycinate. It's combined with glycine, which is great for sleep. That means it's chelated, it's absorbed well. Bisglycinate and glycinate mean the exact same thing, and there's no loose stools. It's cost effective, it's well absorbed. That's my number one. So out of all of these, I'm personally using magnesium glycinate right now. I am using magnesium L-threonate recently over the last 30 days. I go over a video on my experiences on magnesium L-threonate, including going into a deep dive on the studies. Check that out below.